There is something about human relationships that most people learn only after being hurt by someone they trusted. The person who disappoints you is not always a stranger. Sometimes it is the person you defended, the person you confided in, the person you believed would never turn against you. And that is where the real danger begins. Not because everyone around you is secretly your enemy, but because you can destroy your peace by giving people access to parts of you they have never proven they deserve to see. The Stoics understood something that modern life often teaches us to ignore. Trust is not something you owe everyone simply because they are kind to you today. Trust is something that should be earned through character, consistency, and time. A person can smile at you and still not wish you well. A person can praise you and still secretly compete with you. A person can call themselves your friend while becoming uncomfortable every time you succeed. And sometimes, the person you think you know is simply the person they have chosen to show you. This does not mean you should become cold, suspicious, or incapable of loving people. That is not strength. That is fear wearing the clothes of wisdom. The goal is not to believe that nobody can be trusted. The goal is to stop trusting blindly. There is a difference between having a good heart and having no boundaries. There is a difference between being kind and being easily accessible. There is a difference between forgiving people and repeatedly handing them the same weapon they used to hurt you. A Stoic does not close the door to humanity. A Stoic simply learns to control who receives the keys. One of the most important lessons about trust is that people reveal themselves through patterns, not promises. Words are easy. Promises are easy. Apologies are easy. Even affection can be easy. What is difficult is consistency. What is difficult is doing the right thing when there is nothing to gain. What is difficult is celebrating someone else's success without feeling diminished by it. What is difficult is remaining loyal when loyalty becomes inconvenient. Watch what people repeatedly do. A person may tell you that they care about you, but what happens when you are no longer useful to them? Do they still call? Do they still respect you? Do they still treat you with dignity when you disagree with them? Do they support your growth, or do they only support the version of you that makes them comfortable? These questions matter because friendship is not proven during easy seasons. Almost anyone can stand beside you when everything is going well. Character becomes visible when circumstances change. The Stoics placed enormous value on character because character is what remains when circumstances are stripped away. Wealth can disappear. Popularity can disappear. Beauty can change. Positions can be lost. People can walk away. But the character you build remains yours. That is why you should stop asking only, "Does this person like me?" Ask something deeper. Who does this person become when they don't get what they want? That question can reveal more than years of conversation. Watch how someone treats people who cannot benefit them. Watch how they speak about people who are not present. Watch how they react when someone else receives attention. Watch how they respond when you establish a boundary. Watch what happens when you say no. Your boundaries will introduce you to people your kindness never could. Some people love you as long as you are available. Some love you as long as you agree with them. Some love you as long as you remain beneath them. Some love the version of you that never challenges them, never says no, never grows beyond them. Then the moment you change, their attitude changes. That moment can be painful, but it can also be revealing. Growth does not always bring new enemies. Sometimes it simply reveals old ones. This is why the Stoic approach to friendship is not built on suspicion. It is built on observation. You don't have to interrogate everyone. You don't have to assume betrayal is waiting around every corner. You simply pay attention. You let time speak. You allow behavior to accumulate. You resist the temptation to make someone important in your life before they have demonstrated that they can handle the responsibility. This is especially important because people often confuse familiarity with trust. Someone may have known you for years and still not understand your heart. Someone may have shared countless experiences with you and still not have your best interests at heart. Time alone does not prove character. Consistency through changing circumstances does. There are people who have known each other for decades and still compete, manipulate, gossip, and betray each other. There are also people who meet later in life and build genuine friendships based on mutual respect. So don't measure trust only by how long someone has been around. Measure it by how consistently they behave. There is another Stoic lesson that can completely change the way you handle betrayal. You cannot control what people choose to do with your trust. You can control whom you trust. You can control what you reveal. You can control how quickly you give someone access to your private life. But once you give someone information, you cannot control what they do with it. Once you tell someone your deepest insecurity, you cannot control whether they use it against you later. Once you reveal your plans, you cannot control whether they support you or compete with you. Once you place your emotional well-being entirely in another person's hands, you cannot control whether they treat that responsibility with care. This is why emotional independence is so important. Never make another person's loyalty the foundation of your peace. If someone stays, appreciate them. If someone leaves, grieve honestly and continue. If someone betrays you, learn from it. If someone misunderstands you, clarify when necessary. But do not surrender control of your inner world to another person's behavior. The moment your peace depends entirely on someone else's loyalty, you have given them power over something that belongs to you. A Stoic would ask, what is actually mine? Your judgment is yours. Your choices are yours. Your character is yours. Your response is yours. Another person's opinion is not yours. Another person's loyalty is not yours. Another person's behavior is not yours. And another person's decision to stay or leave is not yours. Understanding this does not make betrayal painless. It makes betrayal less destructive. There is a difference between pain and destruction. You may be hurt by someone's betrayal without allowing that betrayal to turn you into someone bitter. You may lose a friendship without losing yourself. You may discover that someone was not who you believed them to be without deciding that nobody deserves your trust. That is emotional strength. The weak response to betrayal is to trust everybody again because you are desperate to prove that you are still a good person. Another weak response is to trust nobody because you are terrified of being hurt again. Wisdom chooses the middle path. Trust slowly, observe carefully, love sincerely, keep boundaries, and let people earn deeper access to your life. Your kindness should remain, but your naivety should disappear. There is nothing noble about ignoring obvious warning signs just because you want someone to be good. Sometimes we become attached to the person we hope someone will become, instead of accepting the person they repeatedly show us they are. We say, they didn't mean it. Then they do it again. They were just angry. Then they repeat the same behavior. They are going through something. And we continue making excuses until their behavior becomes a permanent part of our lives. Compassion is valuable, but compassion without boundaries can become self-destruction. You can understand why someone behaves badly without allowing them unlimited access to you. You can forgive someone without trusting them exactly as you did before. Forgiveness and trust are not the same thing. Forgiveness releases you from carrying hatred. Trust determines how much access someone receives. A person can be forgiven and still remain at a distance. That is not cruelty. That is wisdom. The Stoics understood that your life becomes dramatically more peaceful when you stop trying to force people to be who you want them to be. You cannot turn an untrustworthy person into a trustworthy person through loyalty. You cannot make a selfish person generous by sacrificing yourself. You cannot make a dishonest person truthful by giving them more opportunities to lie. And you cannot make someone respect you by endlessly tolerating disrespect. People must choose their character for themselves. Your responsibility is to choose how close you stand to that character. This is where mature friendship begins. You stop asking, "How can I make this person stay?" And you begin asking, "Does this relationship deserve a place in my life?" That shift is powerful, because when you stop being desperate to keep everyone, you become capable of recognizing who actually deserves to stay. You begin noticing the friend who corrects you privately instead of humiliating you publicly. The friend who can celebrate your success without turning it into a competition. The friend who respects your boundaries even when those boundaries inconvenience them. The friend who does not need constant access to your life to prove that the friendship is real. The friend who can disagree with you without trying to destroy you. The friend who protects your name when you are not present. Those people are rare, and because they are rare, they should be valued. But even genuine friendship should never require you to abandon yourself. A healthy friendship does not demand that you become smaller so another person can feel bigger. It does not require you to betray your values to maintain peace. It does not punish you for growing. It does not make you afraid to speak honestly. Real friendship does not imprison you. It gives you room to become more of who you are. And perhaps that is the deeper meaning behind trusting wisely. The goal is not to build a life where nobody can hurt you. That life does not exist. The goal is to build a mind so grounded that even when someone disappoints you, they cannot take your character with them. You can lose a friend and still remain honorable. You can lose a relationship and still remain peaceful. You can lose someone's approval and still know your worth. You can discover that someone was pretending and still refuse to become fake yourself. That is the victory. Because the greatest danger of betrayal is not the betrayal itself. It is what you allow the betrayal to turn you into. Don't let someone else's dishonesty make you dishonest. Don't let someone else's cruelty make you cruel. Don't let someone else's betrayal convince you that your kindness was a weakness. Your kindness was never the problem. Your lack of discernment was the problem. Keep the kindness, keep the compassion, keep the ability to love, but add wisdom. Let your heart remain warm while your judgment becomes sharper, because not everyone deserves the same level of access to you. And learning that does not make you cold. It makes you wise. There comes a point in life when you realize that trust should not be given because someone knows how to make you feel comfortable. It should be given because their character has shown itself to be reliable. There is a difference between someone who knows how to make you feel good and someone who knows how to treat you well. The first can be charming. The second is consistent. Charm can be performed. Character is much harder to fake. A person can imitate kindness for a season, but eventually pressure reveals what is underneath. When money becomes involved, when jealousy appears, when competition enters the room, when you receive an opportunity they wanted, when you become more successful than they expected, something changes. And that change can reveal more than years of pleasant conversation. This is why you should never be in a hurry to call someone your closest friend. Let time test what words cannot prove. You do not need to announce that you are testing someone. Simply observe. Observe how they handle your success. Observe how they respond when you say no. Observe how they treat people beneath them. Observe whether they keep private conversations private. Observe whether they apologize without immediately blaming you. Observe whether their support disappears when you stop being useful. You are not becoming paranoid. You are becoming discerning. There is a difference. Paranoia assumes everyone is dangerous. Wisdom understands that everyone is capable of making choices, and those choices should be evaluated by their patterns. This is especially important when you begin improving your life. Growth changes relationships. When you become more disciplined, some people will call you boring. When you stop participating in gossip, some people will call you distant. When you stop tolerating disrespect, some people will call you arrogant. When you become financially responsible, some people may accuse you of changing. When you stop being available at all hours, some people may complain that you no longer care. But sometimes what people call your change is simply the disappearance of the version of you they benefited from. That realization can be painful. You may discover that someone did not love your presence as much as they loved your availability. They loved what you provided. They loved the attention. They loved the emotional support. They loved having someone who always said yes. And when you finally begin protecting your time and energy, the relationship suddenly becomes difficult. Do not automatically interpret that difficulty as evidence that you are wrong. Sometimes, boundaries expose relationships that depended on your lack of them. The Stoic does not measure the value of a relationship by how comfortable it feels. They measure it by whether it contributes to virtue, wisdom, stability, and mutual respect. Some relationships feel comfortable because both people refuse to challenge each other. But comfort is not always growth. A true friend may tell you something you do not want to hear. They may tell you that your behavior is wrong. They may challenge your excuses. They may remind you of the person you said you wanted to become. That kind of honesty is valuable because it is not designed to destroy you. It is designed to strengthen you. Learn to distinguish criticism from contempt. Someone who criticizes your behavior because they care about your character is different from someone who attacks your character because they want to make you feel small. One says, "You can do better." The other says, "You will never be better." One challenges your actions. The other attacks your identity. Wisdom knows the difference. And you should also learn to distinguish genuine concern from control. A person may say they are protecting you when they are actually trying to control your decisions. They may say, "I'm only telling you this because I care," while constantly undermining your confidence. They may discourage every opportunity that takes you outside their influence. They may become uncomfortable when you develop new friendships. They may demand explanations for every decision. That is not always friendship. Sometimes it is possession disguised as concern. You are allowed to have a life outside any relationship. You are allowed to grow in directions people around you do not understand. You are allowed to make decisions that others would not make. A healthy friendship can survive individuality. An unhealthy relationship requires obedience. This is why self-respect must come before blind loyalty. Never prove your loyalty by betraying yourself. Never remain in a relationship simply because leaving makes you feel guilty. Never sacrifice your dignity just to preserve the appearance of peace. There is a kind of peace that comes from avoiding conflict, and there is a deeper peace that comes from knowing you did not abandon yourself. Choose the second. Sometimes the most stoic thing you can do is walk away quietly. No dramatic announcement, no public revenge, no campaign to make everyone understand your side, no endless explanation. You simply recognize that the relationship is no longer healthy and create distance. The need to make everyone understand you can become another form of dependence. You do not need every person to agree with your decision. You only need to know why you made it. There will be people who misunderstand your silence. Let them. There will be people who create stories about why you left. Let them. There will be people who believe the version of events that makes them comfortable. Let them. You cannot control another person's interpretation. Trying to control it will consume your peace. The Stoic understands that reputation is partly outside your control. You can behave honorably. You can speak truthfully. You can act with integrity. But you cannot force everyone to interpret your behavior correctly. So do your part and release the rest. This becomes especially powerful when someone betrays you publicly. Your first instinct may be to defend yourself immediately. You may want to expose everything you know. You may want to reveal their secrets. You may want to make them feel the same pain they caused you. But revenge often creates another chain. You become emotionally connected to the person you claim to be finished with. You spend your time thinking about them, planning against them, watching them, waiting for their downfall. And while you are doing all of this, they continue occupying your mind. That is not freedom. The Stoic response is different. Protect yourself. Correct false information when necessary. Set boundaries. Remove access. Then return your attention to your own life. Your greatest revenge against betrayal is not destruction. It is becoming so grounded that the betrayal no longer controls your future. There is immense power in refusing to let another person's worst behavior determine the person you become. If they lied, you become more truthful. If they manipulated, you become more discerning. If they abandoned you, you become more self-reliant. If they betrayed your confidence, you become wiser about what you reveal. If they underestimated you, you stop needing their recognition. Turn every painful experience into information. That is how suffering becomes wisdom. You should also be careful about telling everyone your plans. Not every dream needs an audience. Not every goal needs public approval. Not every ambition needs to be announced before it has been built. There is power in moving quietly. When you reveal everything too early, you invite opinions from people who have not earned a place in the process. Some will discourage you. Some will mock you. Some will project their own limitations onto your dream. Some will smile while secretly hoping you fail. And some may genuinely care but still not understand your vision. You do not need to convince everyone. Build first. Let the results speak later. Silence is sometimes protection. This does not mean hiding your entire life. It means understanding that privacy is a form of strength. Your vulnerabilities are valuable. Your plans are valuable. Your finances are valuable. Your relationships are valuable. Your deepest fears are valuable. Do not distribute them carelessly. There is a strange pressure in modern life to make everything visible. People share their relationships, their struggles, their plans, their purchases, their achievements, their private conversations. Then they wonder why they feel exposed. You do not need to make your entire life public to prove that you are living. Some of the most meaningful parts of your life should remain sacred. Protect what matters. The Stoics understood the importance of simplicity and inner control. The less you need from other people, the less power they have over you. If you desperately need approval, someone can control you with criticism. If you desperately need attention, someone can control you with silence. If you desperately need companionship, someone can control you with the threat of leaving. If you desperately need validation, someone can control you by withholding praise. This is why independence matters. Not because humans do not need each other. We do. But healthy connection is different from emotional dependence. You can love people without needing them to constantly reassure you. You can appreciate friendship without fearing solitude. You can enjoy companionship without losing your identity. You can trust someone without giving them control over your self-worth. That is emotional freedom, and solitude can help you develop it. When you become comfortable being alone, you stop accepting unhealthy relationships simply because loneliness frightens you. You stop confusing attention with love. You stop confusing familiarity with loyalty. You stop confusing chemistry with character. You become more selective. And being selective is not arrogance. Your time is limited. Your energy is limited. Your emotional capacity is limited. You cannot give yourself completely to everyone. Choose carefully. There will be seasons when people leave your life, and you cannot understand why. You may replay conversations. Search for the mistake. Wonder what you could have done differently. Sometimes there is something you could have done better. Take responsibility for it. But do not turn responsibility into self-blame. Relationships are created by two people. You cannot carry the entire weight of a relationship alone. If someone chooses dishonesty, that choice belongs to them. If someone chooses betrayal, that choice belongs to them. If someone chooses to walk away, that choice belongs to them. Your responsibility is to decide what you will do next. This is where Stoicism becomes practical. Instead of asking, "Why did they do this to me?" ask, "What does this experience teach me about people, boundaries, and myself?" Instead of asking, "How can I make them regret losing me?" ask, "How can I use this experience to become wiser?" Instead of asking, "How do I make them understand my value?" ask, "Why am I asking someone else to determine my value?" These questions move your mind from victimhood to responsibility, and responsibility is where power begins. You do not control who betrays you. You control what betrayal teaches you. You do not control who leaves. You control whether their departure destroys your identity. You do not control who misunderstands you. You control whether you abandon your principles to prove yourself. You do not control whether someone becomes a good friend. You control whether you continue giving them access after they repeatedly demonstrate that they are not. That is the freedom you always possess. There is another mistake you must avoid. Do not become addicted to testing people. If you constantly search for hidden motives, you will eventually destroy genuine relationships through suspicion. Trust wisely does not mean trust nobody. It means allow trust to develop naturally. Give people reasonable opportunities to demonstrate character. Do not assume betrayal before it happens. Do not punish someone for the actions of another person. Do not make an innocent person pay for an old wound. That is not wisdom. That is unresolved pain. If someone has earned your trust, let them have it. If they prove trustworthy, appreciate them. If they make a mistake, consider the context. Everyone makes mistakes. The question is whether they take responsibility and change. A genuine friend is not a perfect person. A genuine friend can disappoint you. They can make mistakes. They can misunderstand you. They can fail. What separates them is what happens afterward. Do they acknowledge it? Do they repair what they damaged? Do they learn? Do they become more careful with your trust? That matters more than perfection, because trust is not built by never making mistakes. It is built by handling mistakes with honesty. So don't search for perfect people. Search for people with good character. People who can admit when they are wrong. People who can celebrate your growth. People who respect your boundaries. People who don't need to dominate you. People who are capable of loyalty without demanding control. People whose behavior remains stable when circumstances change. Those people are worth keeping. And when you find them, do not take them for granted. A Stoic does not become cynical. A Stoic becomes discerning. There is a huge difference. Cynicism says, everyone is selfish. Wisdom says, some people are selfish, some are generous, and I will judge them by their character. Cynicism says, nobody can be trusted. Wisdom says, trust should be earned. Cynicism says, I will never open my heart again. Wisdom says, I will open my heart without abandoning my judgment. That is the balance. The world does not need another person who has become bitter because someone hurt them. The world needs people who can experience betrayal and still remain honorable. People who can be disappointed without becoming cruel. People who can walk away without seeking revenge. People who can forgive without becoming foolish. People who can love without becoming dependent. People who can trust without becoming blind. Become that person, because the deepest lesson is not that nobody is your friend. The deeper lesson is that friendship should be recognized through character rather than assumed through familiarity. Not everyone is your enemy. Not everyone is your friend. Some people are simply passing through your life. Some will stay for a season. Some will stay for decades. Some will teach you through love. Others will teach you through disappointment. And some will become the rare people who stand beside you without needing to possess you. Value those people, but never lose yourself trying to keep them. Your life is too valuable to spend chasing people who have already shown you that they do not value your presence. Your peace is too valuable to sacrifice for relationships built on fear. Your future is too valuable to remain trapped by the opinions of people who do not understand where you are going. Trust wisely, love wisely, choose wisely, and above everything else, learn to trust yourself. Trust yourself to recognize patterns. Trust yourself to set boundaries. Trust yourself to walk away when necessary. Trust yourself to survive disappointment. Trust yourself to rebuild after betrayal. Because when you develop that kind of self-trust, you no longer need everyone to stay. You can appreciate people without fearing their departure. You can enjoy friendship without making it your identity. You can open your heart without handing someone the keys to your entire life. And that is what real strength looks like. Not a person who trusts nobody. A person who knows exactly who deserves their trust. If this message spoke to you, subscribe to the Stoic Path for more lessons on Stoicism, self-mastery, emotional control, discipline, wisdom, and building a stronger mind. Here, we are not trying to become cold people. We are learning to become wiser people. Keep walking the path. Protect your peace, strengthen your character, and remember that the strongest version of you is not the one who needs everyone to stay. It is the one who can love deeply, trust wisely, and still remain standing when someone chooses to walk away.